Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanim. Now, I want to start with this article here about XRP because Brad Garlinghouse is saying exactly the same thing that I was saying 2 videos ago. I remember I was telling you that Congress needs to step in. Remember I said that? Check this out. See, sometimes I wonder, Mr. Garlinghouse, are you a subscriber? We're on the same page. I'm just joking around, but we're on the same page. Check this article out. It's on the cryptobasic.com, and it goes as such. Ripple CEO says WSJ article should prompt U.S. Congress to stop SEC chairman's methods of crypto regulation. And I also discussed this on a podcast on Spotify. And I was saying all the SEC is doing is dragging everything out so they can continue to collect money. There was an article recently talking about how many billions of dollars the SEC has been collecting from crypto. And as long as crypto is unregulated, they will continue to be able to collect monies by regulation, by enforcement. It's not regulation, it's just enforcement. They're just collecting money and taking advantage of the unregulated crypto sphere. While crypto itself and the people need those regulations to move forward and grow. So that's why I was speaking on that. But let's read a little bit of this article right here. It says, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, has commented on an open piece written by the Wall Street Journal, okay, which slammed SEC Chairman Gary Gensler's cryptocurrency approach as counterproductive. Ripple CEO shared an excerpt from the article. It says, according to Garlinghouse, the WSJ article is enough to prompt congressional action that would stop Mr. Gensler from continuing his regulation by enforcement. That's what we were saying here on this channel for quite some time. And then I summed it up. I brought it to a culmination like maybe 2-3 videos ago and on the podcast as well. That Congress should step in. Remember last year when Congress was thinking about stepping in, they were starting to talk about crypto and things of that nature. And it led many people to believe that they were going to take definitive action. But so far, it's been very light steps, and, you could praise them for progression. However, I mean, a lot of us would like to see a lot more. Time is ticking. And not only is time ticking for the United States, but the rest of the world is moving on. And if the United States is going to continue to grow, they need to decide now. Do they want to continue to grow, or do they want to be left behind? And I think a lot of the blockchain companies, a lot of the Bitcoin companies have said the same thing. The United States will be left behind if they don't act on cryptocurrency right now. Crypto is the backbone of everything they want to do. You can't have CBDCs without crypto. You're going to need bridge currencies. All right. You're going to need bridge currencies, and you're going to need to keep ties with the fintechs and the NBFIs. Their technology is second to none. You're going to need them as advisors. There's so many things. You're going to need them for liquidity, XRP. You're going to need Overledger as well. Quant is in there. XLM. You're going to need the stable coins, USDC. I mean, you can't get around them, right? So you don't want to be left behind. So I think a lot of the governmental entities need to see the writing on the wall and not take an arrogant approach to regulation by putting it off until later, kicking the ball down the road and thinking to yourself, well, we're the United States and we're number one. So listen, you're only as good as your technologies. You're only as good as your currency and the power of your currency. Right, which goes a long way. I know a lot of people are going to talk about the military aspect or militaristic aspects of countries dominating the world. But when everybody is sort of coming on par with their military level, let's say weaponry, right? The top level weaponry. That's what we're going to say. The top level weaponry is really what matters. So this is why a lot of countries don't come into conflict, because there would be mutually assured destruction. So now that kind of negates the military aspect once you have that going around with a lot of these powerful countries. So then what is left? Economic domination is what's left. And right now, America's not producing a whole lot of things. And so it would behoove United States to at least keep their dollar as the world reserve currency, keep the power within the dollar. The only way that they can do that is with crypto regulations, in my humble opinion. Crypto regulations, work with the NBFIs, work with the blockchain companies, the bank coins, come together with them, and they will show you the way. They will lead the way, as they have been doing. You have the Fed, at least parts of the Fed, listening. You have Algorand working with MIT. You have MIT working with the Fed. You have Cypherium, which was brought to me by one of our esteemed members. You have Cypherium working with the Fed. The blockchains are there to lead the way. It's just a matter of the United States allowing them to do what it is that they were always meant to do. Bring in the new financial system and everybody will make boatloads of money. The United States economies would explode because of the money they would be saving. You can negate a lot of these different issues economically that are going on by utilizing the bank coins. There's so much. There's so many solutions the bank coins bring to the table, not to mention that you would be able to rid yourself of the problem of bank runs, right? So, and another thing, I'm going to jump around a little bit. This is all crucial information. I hope you remember and you research it yourself, look it up yourself. But they're constantly talking about fragmentation. Well, there wouldn't be so much fragmentation if you enact regulation. So you're constantly lecturing us about fragmentation, but we wouldn't have 20,000 crypto. That's mind blowing, by the way. 20,000 crypto, if you enact regulation, all those scam coins, all of those rug pull coins will go away. All of those useless projects will go away, and there wouldn't be fragmentation as such. There would actually be a congealing, a coming together. That's what the bank coins bring. Interoperability means congealing. Not only congealing with each other, but now we will congeal with the legacy system. There will be respect in crypto, and those prices would skyrocket. Undoubtedly, XRP will explode. Quant will explode. I think it will surprise people the most because they don't want to talk about Quant. They don't like Quant. Even though Quant has over 500 access to over 500 banks and only has 13 million coins. If a person even held one Quant, I think, it's my humble opinion, not financial advice, and I don't care if you buy it or not. It makes no difference to me. Once again, these are coins that make money off of the big institutions, the banks, all right? But if a person even had one Quant, I think they're going to do well. There's only 13 million Quant, that's it. Don't take a lot for that that price to explode. Algorand, price will explode. So because of these different factors, these different things, you're going to have them embedded in payroll within their government, setting up governmental infrastructures. They want to know information, and there's no better way to know than blockchain with blockchain immutability. That's another reason they're going to love the bank coins. But keep in mind, a lot of these bank coins, just even if you take the smallest, most minute portion of what they do, which is like transaction fees, they have to be used for transaction fees, with the transactions are going to be astronomical when you look at the industries that they're a part of. You take something like XDC, look at trade finance. Do you understand how much money will be flowing out of trade finance into XDC because of all the different transactions? Not only that, but then XDC Zenfin Foundation or network, whatever they call, has been working and speaking with different governments. They had an article written on them by the World Economic Forum. They're going to explode with all of those transactions and congestions on the network. The price of something that's like XDC is what, 2 cents, 3 cents right now, will explode. It's just a matter of time and patience. But people have to know these things are long holds and they take time. That way they know what they're getting into. But to understand the upside of them, that makes everything worth the wait. 2 cents. Imagine what XDC is going to go to. And imagine how many people are holding a ton of XDC right now. And the necessity of these particular protocol to be used for transaction fees is a great thing. That's a great thing. So you take something like Quant, for instance, it only has 13 million, but it's also very good because every entity that is on Quant must utilize Quant, whether you know it or not. That doesn't change the facts. Has to use Quant for transactions. So let's say you put your fiat in or you put whatever in, it rides across Quant. Those transaction fees are exacted in Q&T, right? And if you have a high volume on a network with such low amounts of Q&T, I know fragmentation as far as Q&T. I know this, you can take, have these partials of Q&T, just like partials of Bitcoin. I understand all of that, but it doesn't make a difference because with that type of congestion coming from all of these banks, commercial banks, clearinghouse banks, central banks that could possibly be using Overledger, XRP, XLM, those prices are going to go up. There is no other way. These are facts. There is no other way. There's no way around this. These are not regular crypto. That's another thing I want to say. We have more articles. I have chapters in here if you want to jump around, but I want to get all of this information out because while I have the chance, you never know what's happening tomorrow in life. You don't, and so I take every single day serious and I'm trying to give everybody everything I can while I can. Just, you never know. Life has been crazy lately in the world, so I treat every day like it's my last. So I'm trying to give you everything I possibly can. And hopefully this information helps. And I hope that out there, people carry on the research, do your own research, become researchers. They share information with each other so that they have the power. I'm all about you having the power, you making your own decision, you freeing yourself. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm here for. Most of you are already free, but there's some that might come to this channel. They haven't been freed yet. They rely on other people for their information. They rely on other people to make decisions for them. And I can respect that, I suppose. However, I promote you being in charge, you being free. So let's move on to this next article here. It says, court grants SEC's request to file a 120-page omnibus motion against 10 Ripple experts. You see, that this is mind-blowing in my humble opinion, but there's a duality to this, a dichotomy to this, which is good because the judge has to be fair on both accounts. So while they are allowing them to file this giant omnibus, and like I said, it's just another technique for the SEC to slow down the process, throw some dirt in the roads, pile the road with rocks and stuff like that to slow down our momentum. Okay, that's perfectly fine. We have to go with what is fair and what the courts are saying is going to be allowed. But let's read this little tidbit, and then I'm going to show you the flip side to this, the dichotomy to this, okay? It says, recall that the SEC requested that it file a 120-page omnibus motion to exclude or limit the testimonies of 10. I almost held up my head like this, like 5, like Alphany, that's not 10. Sorry, I get a little lazy sometimes. 10. 10 Ripple experts. The SEC opted to file an omnibus motion instead of utilizing the 15-page limit per expert as previously ordered by the court. Of course, they're going to take the max of everything. This is just another stalling tactic, which means what? People stall when they're losing. They're going to try to buy time. It's like when you're in a fight or something like that, and a person kicks you in the groin, the person tries to poke you in the eye, you got to take time. They're just buying their time. They know it's not going to be that significant, but that few seconds that you're down or you got to go to your corner, it allows them to maybe come up with a strategy, allows them to maybe think a little bit more. They're just buying their time, but we're still going to go for the knockout. We're still going to imply our techniques. It's just going to take just a little bit more time. But if we're patient, we will land the big fish, the white whale. We will slay the dragon. Just have to have patience. And don't let our minds become frayed. Not afraid, frayed, fragmented, right? Keep everything together solid. And we stand on our square. Now, let's continue on here. It says, the 10 experts the SEC plans to limit or exclude their testimonies have made various reports regarding the lawsuit. Meanwhile, the blockchain company and individual defendants, Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, did not object to the SEC's request. And I'm going to explain why here, because two things happen simultaneously. So we have to keep in mind that the pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right. Correct? Right? There is an outflow and inflow in life. There's a balancing to life. Hey, get my book if you haven't already. I talk about stuff like this in there. All right. So that was the swing to the left. Could seem like that's not a good thing. They're delaying us a little bit more. Could be frustrating until you read this. The swing to the right. The balancing of everything. Right? Court. Here's the next article. Court finally grants Ripple to add 2 attorneys to its legal team in SEC lawsuit. You have to know that they're adding the absolute best attorneys that they can. That's a good thing for you and I. They're beefing up their team. They're ready for the knockout blow, or ready for the knockout blow, right? This is what we want. Let's just read a little bit here. It says, Ripple has been granted permission to add 2 new attorneys to his legal team. Ripple's motion to add 2 attorneys to his legal team in the ongoing lawsuit against the SEC has finally been granted. Shortly after 2 attorneys from Kellogg Hansen, Kylie Kim, and Clayton Masterman were denied admission into Ripple's legal team, the blockchain company moved immediately to file an amended motion for admission to Pro Hoc Vice. Defendants also notarized affidavits of the attorneys in compliance with local rules. It says the moves made by Ripple prompted the court to grant the motions that would see both attorneys added to the blockchain company's legal team in the ongoing lawsuit. Both motions to appear pro hoc vice have been granted. Is reported by James K. Fallon. Okay, so he says the move could prolong the lawsuit, yes, but it makes it the outcome. This is the focus. Victory is the focus, not speed. Not speed. Sometimes if you rush into a fight, you rush into a match. For all my wrestlers out there, jiu-jitsu practice, if you rush it, you may make a mistake. This is chess, and do not ever underestimate your opponent, ever. I don't care who the opponent is. Patience wins the day. A good solid plan and strategy, stick to it. Make sure you're meticulous in every step of that plan. That's what matters here, not speed. We need a victory. Whether it comes fast or slow should not matter, but the victory outright is what we need. And we will have it as long as we take the correct steps and we are patient with the steps. Don't force them. Don't force the moves. Feel the outflow and inflow of the opponent. When my opponent expands, I contract. And when my opponent contracts, I expand. Master Bruce Lee taught that. And I take his teachings very serious. One of the first books my father ever put in my hands was the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. When my opponent expands, I contract. When my opponent contracts, I expand, right? The move could prolong the lawsuit, although the development is considered strategic to increase Ripple's chances of winning the lawsuit. The onboarding of the two lawyers to the company's legal team may prolong the proceeding of the case beyond expectations. That's perfectly fine in my humble opinion. We have 4 to 5 years. We're good to go. Just bring us a victory. That's how I feel. Just bring us the victory. It doesn't change the timeline whatsoever unless there's just people who are not in the know of what the Bank of International Settlements has said, the IMF has said, and Ripple itself 2 months ago said. Ripple said 4 years. We have time. Ripple, just do your job. You've been doing a wonderful job, and bring home that money. Right? So, oh man, everything's going great. I'm feeling really good, man. I appreciate being here before all of you. I'm very humbled to be here with you again. Yeah, you got to appreciate every single day. Love every single day. Take care of yourselves out there. So there's so much more we could cover, but I think a lot of my peers already touched on this. U.S. publishes fact sheet on global crypto regulation. They're being forced because Europe has already, did I only put that document inside the members only section? I'm not sure. I forget which ones I put in the members only section and which ones I put, in videos for the regular subscribers. I can't remember, but Europe has already been enacting regulations. A lot of my peers, I believe, probably would have covered that as well. So they probably gave you good information about that. But because of that, as I said, they're forcing United States to move faster on regulation, which is a great thing because the United States doesn't want to be left behind, but they always seem to be the last to move when it comes to technology, which is it's reasonable because the United States, a lot of times, they don't really dominate because of their technologies. I mean, militaristically, sure. But really, the outright brute force of the military really is what has kept America, United States afloat, not America, United States afloat for quite some time. However, it is a certain time period where you have to play catch up because you don't want the rest of the world to take off. I mean, Africa is poised 10 to 15 years. They're going to explode. I think 10 years, they're exploding. Their economy is going to take off like never before. They've already been building the foundations and it's looking wonderful. They have great real estate in Africa, a lot of big businesses moving to Africa. They found a bounty of new natural resources on top of what they already had. Then you have Latin America. They're setting up infrastructures. They're going to save a ton of money using blockchain. Algorand is down there. Stellar's down there. Ripple is down there. Cello is also down there. And I would think that Hedera is going to make a lot of movement in Latin America, but we'll wait to hear more about that type of thing. Hedera is in Africa as well. So in Europe, you have all of these places setting up and getting prepared for what is the new financial system. So United States has to now take a look at that and say, do we really want to be left behind? Right? And that's in addition to a myriad of other problems when it comes to fiat currencies. They're going to need something to ensure that their fiat currency has more stability. Sometimes what individuals will do, I'll say individuals, I like to think about what I say sometimes before I just put it out there. They'll make a sound in the West. They're doing something in the East. They make a sound over here, distract you. They're doing something over here. So what the United States government and the Fed and entities of that nature have been, and the SEC as regulatory bodies, representative of one of their main and most vocal regulatory bodies has been doing is they have been highlighting the volatility of crypto. All the while, they're not informing people of the coming possible, we have to keep an eye on it, the possible volatility of the US dollar. Like I said before, there's some catalysts that I keep my eye on. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. So all the while they're talking about crypto volatility and vulnerability, the US dollar has never, at least in this next coming year or two, has never been more vulnerable than right now because of certain things going on in the world. There's a bevy of nations coming together, right? I'll leave it at that. So they should be focused on that, which I believe behind the scenes, they have to be. They have to be. You have to protect that dollar at all costs. Which means what? They're going to need the bank coins, especially something like XRP, an agnostic bridge currency. Which, by the way, like I said, I believe XRP will be something akin to the new SDR. You can peg it to gold. Just like SDRs. SDRs are agnostic bridge currency utilized by the IMF and held by everybody now, right? All of these central banks now. Special drawing rights. They took it and they pegged it to the dollar. I don't understand why Ripple would not be able to do the same once they reach a certain level and they have certain governmental ties, like the central banks do. They can peg XRP to the dollar. Listen, to remove that XRP, the tiny little bit of XRP that retail holds, which is nothing, by the way, they can remove that. They can stabilize it very easily. And if they wanted to, they can remove it from the hands of retail very easily. When that price starts going up, a lot of people are going to sell. I don't think most people are going to make it past $30. I don't. I think they're liquidating at least 50% of their XRP holdings. And this is, look, I read a ton of comments. I may not have the time to respond to every comment. I read a ton of comments across a lot of videos. I'm still getting comments on videos that I made when I first had the channel. And people are letting you know, hey, $8, $10, I'm selling 20%, 25%. And numbers just keep going up. I think it will get closer to 50% because I don't know of how much people are going to believe when XRP hits that $20 to $30 range. People are going to be sitting on a ton of money. And while it's more easy to believe in a project when so believe that you're going to stay in that project and keep your value in that project while the price has not gone there. Once it does, people are addicted to the US dollar. They like to have their cash on the side, right? Oh, I'm gonna sell my XRP. So I think that addiction to cash, fiat currency, will cause a lot of people to liquidate at least 50% of their XRP holdings, around $20 to $30, and then they will keep that in US dollars, which is dangerous. There's gonna be danger unless United States takes precautions. We are always going to be adjustable. As new information comes in, it is wise to adjust our thinking as we take in new information. Some people frown upon that. Oh, you're changing your mind. No, change is the only constant thing in life. All things grow. There is birth, growth, decadence, right? Death. There's a cycle. There's always change. So the same thing happens with our minds. We take in new information, then we adjust accordingly. If my opponent moves this way, then maybe I may want to make a different move this way. Adjustments. So if the United States takes precautions, then my thinking on that will change. And I'm observing. I hope that they do. But until then, I have to take note of the fact that the US dollar over the next 2 to 3 years may be in danger. It's a possibility, right? It's also a possibility it may not. But I keep a balanced way of thinking. Like hopefully that makes sense to everybody out there. So I had a lot of other articles here, but I'm not going to keep you too long today. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I'm feeling good right now. Like I said, cold wallets, bank coins are safe holds. In my humble opinion, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Bank coins are safe holds, but cold wallet. LPL Titan, I like those. I like ledgers, right? Careful with the cash on the side. Just know, stay privy to everything that's going on in the markets. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. This is what I would do. Stay privy. Know what's going on in the world that could affect the power of the dollar over these next few months and years. You know, that's what I'm going to do. So until next time, let's get to I don't know why I did like that. Let me try a different one. Let's get to the money.